Welcome to Through the Eyes of a Maine Guide. Every journey holds a story. By sharing the wisdom of those who came before us, we keep their legacy alive for generations to come. Join me, Brennan Lane, as we explore the wild through the eyes of a Maine Guide. Welcome back to another episode of Through the Eyes of a Maine Guide with your host, Brennan Lane. Today we're down in Grand Lake Stream at the Downeast Lakes Land Trust, sitting with the director, Brian Tripp, as our guest. Thanks for doing this, Brian.
Hey, my pleasure. I'm glad you guys came down.
Thanks for welcoming us in here and letting us take up your office for the day and get rolling with us.
All good. Yeah, we got a nice thing here and we want to share it and show it off, so we're glad to have you.
Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, yourself, and go from there.
Okay, I grew up a kid of son of a game warden and did a lot of outdoor stuff, obviously. At 18, I got my master guide's license. Started doing canoe stuff. Went to Unity College because I wanted to be a game warden myself and pursued that career. I did that job for 18 years. The other part of our family, I'm third generation master guide. The other part of our family are lobster fishermen.
Okay.
So I'm it came by it natural.
Yeah.
At some point, I got bit by the lobster bug, and there was a lot of resource in the area that I lived, so I went for it. I did both for a little while, and then after a while, I had to make a choice. You could only do one well, like be a game warden or be a lobster fisherman, and there was some resource out there to get. At that time, we were like in the lobster boom, so I jumped. And I fished offshore for 6 years, pretty much straight, didn't bring a trap home for 6 years. Came home to sleep, and that's about it. During that time, there was a good opportunity to get ahead, and I bought a place here in Grand Lake Stream. So I used to joke and say I did my living in Grand Lake Stream, and I made my living in the Stonington Deer Isle area. Every pretty much waking moment that I could, I came here. I started with some of the local houndsmen, chasing coyotes. Got a job guiding when things were slow, lobstering, especially like spring, the Canadian market floods. So you can't really make $1 May and June. Well, that's a pretty good time to sit in the back of a canoe. So, you pivot. I come down and work for 3 or 4 days and then go home, haul my traps. And I really like this area. As soon as I got here, I knew it was different. It's undeveloped. A lot of the land is part of this land trust, which I didn't understand at the time, but it felt like you could kind of do things like you wanted. It's fairly unrestricted. And I like to trap, so my kids and I could go set a trap line, just go into the office, get a permission slip signed, and off you go. It really felt like home to me. So when the time came and lobstering started to dwindle a little bit, we looked here to come down and finish raising our 2 kids and make some memories here and give them an opportunity to enjoy Maine the way I knew it.
Hey guys, shout out to Northwoods Outdoor Supply, proud sponsor of Through the Eyes of a Maine Guide podcast. If you guys find yourself in Aroostook County and need any ammunition, firearms, fishing supplies, or any outdoor supplies in general, swing in and see what they have. They have a large variety of firearms, ammunition, ice fishing supplies, regular fishing supplies, and just outdoor supplies in general. Stop in and talk to Brandon. If you don't have it, I'm sure he can get it for you. They're located right in the Martin's Plaza next to Martin's and Tractor Supply. So make sure you stop in and show your support and say hi. And that's the part of Maine that's disappearing quite rapidly.
Yeah, it's vanishing right before our eyes. But to be truthful, this is one of the places that I felt like home still. I was like, wow, this is where I want to be. It drew me in. I was like a moth to a flame.
Well, I said that yesterday, I think, when I was talking to Scott on the way down here, and even Paul. I said from when I left home in Allagash, driving down through here, like, you start to come to civilization, the further we got this way, it's like you're back in no man's land again. Yep. Like, you never really would even realize this place existed. And this atmosphere, I mean, I noticed it just in the drive down last night. Like it was, I've been down here a couple times before, but it's always been in the dark or whatever there. Buying the canoe off Dale, stuff like that has never actually been down here during broad daylight. And to be down here last night and throughout the morning there is like, wow, this kind of feels like Allagash.
Yeah. It's a special place, and we don't exactly like recruit. It's not. You got to find it. You got to come find us. Once you're here, you most people appreciate it.
Now, how many people live here? Do you know?
Yep, pretty close. I can get within 4 or 5. It depends.
Within 4, it's not a big population if you get that close.
Well, I'm trying to think of who just had babies. So we got a couple newcomers. Recruitment's slow but steady.
Yeah.
I think we're right around 97 or 8 for a year-round population.
Really? Now, seasonal, is there a lot of people around this time of year for seasonal?
Yeah, we blow up a little bit in the summer. Camp owners come, and I wouldn't say they're all here at the same time, but there's certainly busy times like the 4th of July time frame where our population probably increases to 450, 500, something like that.
Now, like, I know talking to you and planning this weekend it's a big thing happening this weekend, correct?
That's right. It's a Grand Lake Stream Folk Art Festival. Been going on almost 30 years.
Now, it's a little, obviously by the time this comes out, it's going to be too late for people, but maybe for next year, if they hear about it now, they can plan. What's it about?
Basically a bunch of Maine and local artists come and, kind of try to sell their wares. There's a lot of talent. They're pretty selective about who they allow to have a booth because we're limited in space. I wouldn't discourage anybody from applying, but it's a high quality event. They have like really nice baskets, beautiful artwork, all kinds of woodworking stuff. Canoes are on display, which is nice.
I see something about on Facebook that someone did a post about the canoes, and it goes back to like the early one of the first Grand Lakers they're going to have on display up to current date.
Yeah, we're basically, that's kind of our brand. The Grand Laker canoe certainly is the iconic. If you look at our road signs, every road's got a Grand Laker for a road sign, and the name is written on it. So, yeah, I think it's one of the nicer festivals that we've got good food. The Shamels have been doing it for a long time, and they work really hard at it.
Everybody interested? Is it normally like this time of year, every year? Like
yes, it's always, as far as I know, it's always like the last weekend in July.
Last weekend in July.
Yep.
Anybody listening that has any interest in that, plan next year around the last weekend in July, and I'm sure you guys must advertise for it before that.
Yep. And that brings in like 4,000 to 5,000 people, we estimated.
In this little town?
Yep. In a 2-day stretch.
Holy.
There people be walking a mile to get to it. It's a big deal. We're right to the gills when we're.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of glad we might be leaving before that starts, to be honest with you.
I ride my dirt bike.
Yeah.
That weekend.
You could bring an electric bike next time if we come down.
A little easier to get around.
What about, let's talk about the land trusts for a little bit.
Sure.
And just, if you don't mind, give a brief rundown on like what it consists of, the size and that stuff.
Yeah, I will. The land trust was formed in 2001, and it was basically as grassroots an idea as you can get. I know that's a buzzword, but truly, like the store owner, the town manager, some local guides, and some town residents that were worried about some of the commercially harvested timberland around here was getting toward the end of its life cycle. The wood was getting small as it come out through, and they were noticing that trucks were loaded with smaller and smaller wood, and they're like, man, what's going to happen when they don't have any wood to cut? They're probably going to sell it. Who are they going to sell it to? We want some control over our neighbors, like we don't want this place to turn into a Sebago Lake. Not that that's a bad place, but it's certainly a different feel. So they got together. I can't imagine what their conversations were, but they got together and basically went full bore on Mission Impossible. And in the last 24 years, it never really stopped. Their enthusiasm kept up. Different people have taken the reins as it came and went. But they've raised over $65 million.
That's crazy.
No professionals involved. It's really, truly just a bunch of concerned people that all were Mainers that were woven into the fabric of this place that said, "No, we're not going to let it change."
That's what happens when you get a group of people that are willing to work together and see the
Yeah,
big picture. I mean, you can overcome mountains,
yeah,
and it's kind of proven here.
yeah. It's a unique thing. The other part that's weird about this land trust, or unique, is we own the land. So most land trusts own the easement,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just trying to like preserve the land. We're not a preservation organization. We have a commercially working forest. We've got 58,000, not that we're counting, but 220 acres. It's pretty good chunk of land. It's 92 square miles. That's all to benefit our mission statement is to enhance the 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 economy, the local economy, and the local basically ecology, like the environment. So we're trying to not just keep the land good for wildlife and hunting and all the traditional uses that people have enjoyed over the last 100 years, but we're also trying to keep our community vibrant too by like allowing people harvesters to come in and cut wood that's ready to be cut, send it to the mill that is the lifeblood of Washington County. I mean, we really are a community forest.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't off limits to everybody. It's not like you can only walk your dog in this certain area. It's if it's legal, we welcome you.
I mean, this morning when we woke up there, I got up and I went flew a ride. I mean, I didn't go farther, but I went a couple miles in on it, and it was kind of crazy. Like, you not see signs that say "Don't do this" or whatever. Like, everything was welcoming, telling people, like, this boat landing's here. There's this there. There's that there. Like, there was no "Don't do this." It was like, come. This is how you go. This is where you go. Like,
That's right.
it was.
It's a special place. As soon as I started down here and really got my feet under me and started looking around, I'm like, well, this is where I want to be. I can trap, I can run my dog, I can do pretty much all the things that I want to do, and nobody is gonna be cross about it.
Hey, Hal here. I just want to take a minute to talk about our wool gear. Our Big Woods Bucks wool gear it's the best value there is on the market. We have 100% virgin wool clothing, whether it's our packs, pants, jackets, whatever. The virgin wool it's the natural fiber from the sheep, and it wraps into a tight thread. That's what makes it waterproof, pretty much wind resistant, and comfortable to wear. It's quiet for hunting, especially in the big woods. You can't find anything better than wool clothing. So we have ours. It's all made in USA with all US accessories and everything. We've got years of experience guiding and it's thought that's going into this stuff. So we've tried to keep the average hunter in mind and kept the price point at where people can afford it. We hope you enjoy it. Wear your woolies. Caught in his death.
No, like, for as far as the land goes, 58,000 acres there. Do you guys like do have bear baits on that? Like, how's that whole program?
Yeah, the North Maine Woods still does the management of all the bear baits,
So
like
no,
everywhere.
okay.
So we don't get right involved in like the permitting of the
Yeah.
sites, but we do allow bear baiting. We have a bunch of commercial operators, really good ones right here in town. We're kind of the home of like I think we've got almost as many hounds in town as we do people.
Well, that don't take much when you only got 80 people.
I mean, a couple packs.
Yeah.
I figured it was impressive.
Yeah.
But we do have a really broad spectrum. We've got like kayakers, we got hikers, we got people that enjoy the ecological reserves that aren't cut, and then we've got people running hounds. We've got mushroom pickers, parked 2 miles down the road. We got whatever you can think of, and pretty much everybody gets along. I would say I'm a bird hunter. I got a bird dog, and I'm a trapper. So I'm pretty smart about where I set my leg hole traps because I don't want to catch somebody's bird dog. But I think that's good unwritten kind of rule that we've all pretty much figured out.
No, it's pretty neat and special, really, to have a place like this still left because, I mean, we're, like you said earlier, we're watching all this disappear in front of our eyes, and I mean, that's part of the reason, like, for me, for behind doing these podcasts is like to bring this stuff out and before everything disappears and just inform people because we're losing history faster than we're making it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we're a dying breed.
Yeah.
But we are a dying breed, and I was a dying breed on the coast as a lobsterman, and we've lost some of that. It isn't coming back. No, I was one of the last fishermen I knew to own shorefront property in their own dock.
Mm-hmm.
Here, it can't change so fast.
Yeah.
It really can't. It's kind of a one in, one out. There's a few lots for sale here and there, but they're pretty rare.
Now, like, so you guys must have a board of directors. I mean, you are the executive director, correct?
That's right. Yep. I work with the board, and our board is unique. It's all local people.
Yeah, that was my next question. Like, is it like how is a board? So, I mean, it would take the town in order to change anything, more or less. It would take the whole town to be able to change something. It ain't like it's people from away that's in charge.
Over the years, the board started as like residents right here, people that were right, within arm's reach, and then it changed a little bit, and some other camp owners, people that were involved in the community, but not necessarily full-time residents here. And there's been times when it got a little bit away from the community, and that the town and the trust weren't always in kind of synergy. They weren't always moving in the same direction, and that was really, I think, my big driving force of taking this job. It's not an easy job. I looked at it and I said, you know what? I think I can do it, and I've got the right ideas because I know exactly what that land can be and how much it can be enjoyed. I use it myself, but you've got to have local people involved. As soon as you lose that, you lose the spirit.
Yep.
The town, the community is really the treasure. That land is like the chest.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need the chest without a treasure.
No, ain't gonna do you no good. No, that's crazy. Now, how long have you been here?
I'm a newcomer.
Newcomer.
Yeah, anybody that hasn't been here 100 years is a newcomer. But
Oh yeah, yeah. Trust me, I feel the same in Allagash. But
I was born in Calais, but that doesn't make me from here.
Yeah, I mean, as a director though, how long have you been there?
This job has only been in my lap for about 2 months.
Oh, 2 months. So you're new there too?
Oh, very new. Yeah. I was sitting in the back of a canoe 6 weeks ago, still filling guide obligations. This isn't a job like I've ever done before. I've never been in an office. I've got, an associate's degree in conservation law enforcement, which only helps you if you're riding around in a green truck.
Yeah.
So it's a new opportunity for me to learn some stuff. I think I was hired because I've got the right vision. I know what we should be and what direction we should head in. And I've got a really good tie to the community. I know everybody here, and I can pretty much bring them together. Mm-hmm. There's people that are like, oh, we had a falling out 20 years ago, and they're both at my house having a drink. So, I've done that my whole life. I don't know how, but pretty soon they're like, I don't know how you got us together, but we're
glad you did.
Yeah, we're glad you did.
Yeah. Now, so you said you said you was a warden.
Yep.
And a lobster fisherman, guide, and now you're here. So like over your years of doing all that stuff, you must have some like interesting or memorable stories that come to mind.
Yeah, there's some stuff, a lot of stuff. A lot of the warden stuff was like pretty busy, pretty hectic. I was a canine handler for them for 11 years. So,
and that's back before all the electronics and all that stuff.
Yeah, we didn't have GPS collars or anything. No, I was on the end of the lead.
And the lead running, yeah.
So, yeah, sometimes we searched for people that wanted to be found. Sometimes we searched for people that didn't want to be found. Sometimes we searched for people that were trying to find us.
Before you found
ambush us. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was interesting. I got dragged through the woods probably 1,000 miles at night behind a dog. That was, different time, different place. Mm-hmm. I was certainly in better shape. Yeah, I had one thing that happened that I remember pretty vividly. I got actually got called to this little town, Parsonsfield, northern York County. I was down in the Freiburg area at the time. It's a warden down there. This lady had a horse pasture, and it was winter, and we had a lot of snow that winter. And there was moose, young bull. He was taking a liking to the horse pasture and the grain, and maybe a few of the horses. He was a little misguided. So she was really adamant that he wasn't going to be welcome there any longer. And I got down there. I just happened to pick up this photographer from the Portland Press-Herald that morning. He was wanting to do a snowmobile safety check and document it. And I was like, Fred, I'm not going to be able to do this snowmobile thing till later this afternoon, maybe not even today. I got to go to Parsonsfield, take care of this moose complaint. Oh, he says, that's fine. Can I ride with you? I'm like, if you want to, I guess. It's going to take a while. We're going to be there probably hour down, hour back, couple hours to do what we got to do. And he's like, all right. So off we go. Get down there, and this moose he's pretty comfortable. He's moved in. So there's probably 4 feet of snow on the ground. I put on the old pair of Iverson snowshoes, and I start across the pasture. Get him up. I've worked on farms when I was a kid, so it's not a farm animal, but you know how to handle bigger animals. I'm like, let's go. I start haying him and getting him off, moving him and waving him off. And he goes pretty good for a ways. We got all the way down to the back end of that pasture, and the fence, you could step over the fence. It was so much snow, but he didn't like that. He got there and he hitched up a little bit, and I was like trying to push him. And I didn't really notice, but Fred was walking behind me the whole time with his camera. He got down to that fence, and it was like the line in the sand. He didn't want to come any closer, go any further. He wasn't happy. He laid his ears back, and his eyes turned, like that cartoon blood vessels, and he charged me, and I was only like 10 feet away. Well, it doesn't sound too bad, but I had crowded him pretty hard. I didn't think he had it in him.
Yeah.
He did. He come at me pretty good, and I couldn't run backwards on them snowshoes, and I couldn't shoot over my shoulder. So I was in a pickle. So I kind of laid down sideways, and I shot him as he went over the top of me. I dumped a whole magazine into him. Not that I really loved that idea, but I really didn't have a lot of choice at the time. Mm-hmm. Well, this guy, Fred Field, won a national award for photographic excellence. Because,
at your expense.
Yeah, as he was standing there taking the pictures. It made the front page of the Portland Press, and the hate mail never stopped. It was like 9 months of like, Brian Tripp is like the moose killer. That was rough. That was a rough way to start in a new patrol. But
was that the start of your career?
Well, it was in the first 4 or 5 years, and I hadn't been in that area more than 6 months probably.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Some people like laughed it off and just gave me a hard time about it, but man, there were some people that were pretty upset.
Well, it's all on film though, so they
Exactly.
was recorded.
Yeah, it was.
What happened?
There's a picture of me on the internet that's, if a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Maybe we'll have to see if we can find that picture.
It's pretty funny. There's no question. I'm too close, and he's mad.
Oh, crap. Now, as far as like your lobster, like the lobstering and that stuff, like for people listening that don't realize what goes into like the lobstering industry, would you want to touch on that a little bit, maybe?
Sure. Yeah, lobstering is probably, after my wife, my second love. I love lobstering. The only reason I'm not lobstering right now, truthfully, is there's regulations in place now and a lot of stuff going on that makes it a pretty like volatile environment. So it's just not a good place for me to be overly invested at this time. I didn't dare stick it out.
They keep coming up with regulations and that stuff, making it harder and harder for them. I mean, all these people want to eat lobster and want to go to these restaurants and eat their $50 lobster tail that's grilled or whatever there, but they want to stop the way
that's right.
they're doing it.
Yeah, they make it harder and more expensive. So everybody starts out as an inshore lobsterman. When you're a kid, you get a skiff and you get a couple traps from your granddad and you patch them up and you go out and throw them in the harbor and you hope for the best. As you get older, some people get more ambitious and they're like, I think I'd like to fish a little deeper water. I'm going to get down below the islands a little bit. pretty soon you come to a fence, imaginary line, and that's the state 3 mile line. So beyond that, you need a federal permit to fish.
Okay.
And you have to, they don't just sell them, you have to buy one from somebody. There's only so many.
So they don't create more like
Nope.
it's existing. Like it's kind of like the bear baits in the
That's
state.
right.
Like in order for you to get baits, you got to buy somebody out now.
That's right. And to fish out there is a lot more of an investment. You've got an investment in a permit, a larger boat. Most of the time you're trying to fish at least 9-10 months of the year, if not 12. And it's a lot deeper. Well, that's good and bad. Things get a lot heavier when you start tying them all together. You get 20 trap trawls, that's a lot more danger. Not uncommon to have a half-mile rope in the locker and 40 traps on the platform, and when things go wrong, they really go wrong.
If you ever get wrapped in that rope, you ain't coming back.
No, then I can't get you back. It's too heavy. It's all knotted up. It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's really dangerous. So you just kind of learn how to keep yourself out of trouble. I won't say I haven't had a stern man climb the rack a couple times like a cat stuck on the side of a wall. Things don't always go right, but they never went really wrong for me. I never hurt anybody. I'm kind of happy with that. Yeah, it's an interesting job. I've chased things my whole life. Furs, feathers, flippers, fins,
Gills,
firearms. That's just one of them. It's a good occupation for somebody that really wants to put their heart and soul into it.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's not easy.
Normal day in January is get going at 2, get on the boat about 2:45, get a torch, thaw out the washdown hose because
That's AM. Just for people that don't understand, that's not PM. That's 2 a.m.
Yeah, we start things rolling. Get the bait aboard. Well, you got to get the bait aboard the day before to thaw it out. So get rolling about 3:15. You got 40 something miles to steam before your first trawl. So you get there just an hour before daylight. Take everything on the first hour. Just keep stacking it on the back to shift it down below. Then you go another 7 or 8 miles down to the end of your gear. Set that gear off because you don't want to set it out at nighttime. You can't see that the trawls are a quarter mile long. And they're heavy. So you don't want to set over anybody. You get down there, it comes daylight, you set off the gear that you hauled in the dark, and you start your way home. By about 6 o'clock, you should have everything back overboard and be cleaning up and headed for the barn. But it's not uncommon to get to the wharf at 7:30, get the boat unpacked, and walk in the door dragging at 9:15.
At night.
At night.
Yeah.
That's normal.
It's not a 3 or 4 hour. You're talking a
Nope.
16, 18 hour day.
And during that day, I'd be lucky if I ate a couple hard-boiled eggs and a Cliff Bar. We're going 100% wide open. The only time I'm able to really eat is at steam time. And most of that, the crew's sleeping and you're sleeping halfway too. Got one eye open.
Yeah. There ain't much you can hit out there.
You'd be surprised. I've hit some, that's another whole session. I've hit some stuff.
Yeah.
Tide walkers, big pylons that come off in the storm. You don't see them. You got rebar sticking out of them. I hit one of those one middle of the night one time. Thought it was just like hitting a moose. Honestly, that boat did some terrible noises, knocked me out of the captain's chair. I ended up in a heap down in the corner. And when I turned around and looked at it, I thought, man, what did I hit? Well, it was like a 12 by 12 timber with a bunch of ragged rebar sticking out of it. And I thought, we better pull some hatches, make sure I didn't drive that through the hull. They're tough. Those boats are tough. I've put them on ledges. I took 14 feet of keel out of one. If you're working, you do, things happen.
Never put a hole through it, though, eh?
I never sunk a boat.
No. I like how you say that. You never sunk one.
Nope. I've had some pumps running for a while.
Yeah.
I've been pretty heavy. That's the truth.
But hey, if you're doing it and you're doing it, shit's gonna happen.
Yeah. I wasn't one to shy away from adventure either. We pushed there as hard as I could.
Yeah. No. Did you do any halibut fishing or scalloping in the?
Yeah, I scalloped with a friend. Probably if I had a scallop license, I'd still be stuck out there going around in circles.
Yeah.
Because that was a good second way to keep your lobster business afloat when things really got sketchy. I did do quite a bit of halibut fishing in the springtime. Caught some nice fish. That was fun. That was always that just extended your day.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't going just for halibut. We'd set the trawls
Yeah.
first thing, go haul our gear, and then check them on the way home. But nobody minded that extra hour and a half.
No.
It's kind of fun.
Halibut to me is that's my favorite saltwater fish.
I agree 100%.
Like I much
King of fish right there.
I much rather have halibut than I would a lobster, to be honest with you.
So we on the coast, it's called a halibut. Because to catch one, you've got a halibut.
Yeah. Yeah, never heard that before.
Yeah. You know the difference between the price of scallops and scallops?
No.
About $10 a pound.
Oh, really? Yep. Well, yeah. So, there's been a lot of stuff going on lately, I guess, with the lobster industry. And where it's at now, because they just up the length.
They tried to.
That
That was a real bone of contention. To be truthful, everybody was looking to where are we going to go, right? Our harbor, we lost 50% the first year of those regulations, the whale regs. Some of those were old guys that just didn't want to change. Some of them were young guys that couldn't afford the jump. So people were moving. They were doing other things. And when that last change, that would have taken probably 20% out of my tank at the end of a lot of days in the summer when we were catching shedders.
Mm-hmm.
That gauge difference. And that would have been probably the straw that broke the camel's back on a lot of that. I mean, we were down to working way more for way less. The last year I lobstered, what I actually kept was probably about what I'd have made working at any regular job with a whole lot more risk and all of my money invested in it.
There's a lot more overhead.
Yeah.
And that's like no different than guiding. A lot of people, like, they don't realize that the overhead, the work, the risk, the liability, everything you put into it to get to where you are for that 1 week they're here, the 3 days they're here to see it. They see everything's all peaches and roses, but they don't realize everything that goes through. Like COVID, I mean, COVID hurt the guiding industry drastically. I mean, because we couldn't operate on regular basis how we could. People couldn't come. We lost a lot of outfitters during COVID just because, I mean, people weren't coming. I think we're not a necessity, no different than, like, say, fishing. Fishing it's not a necessity. People don't need you to do that to survive.
It's true.
Lobster's
a luxury item.
Yeah, it's luxury. We're a luxury for them, and like there's a lot of that goes in, even like in the guiding industry now going forward. There's a lot of things that are kind of crucial to the success and be able to keep this going forward for generation upon generation, and it's getting harder and harder every year.
It's becoming a part-time job, unfortunately.
It really is. I mean, and that's a scary part. Like, it's not you're I don't want to say fighting, but like you're working just as hard now at keeping everything going as you are as running your business. Because if you don't work hand in hand with everything, then before you know it, your business isn't there. Because you can't operate.
The other part that I'm worried about is getting the young people into it.
Well, and that's half of it. The younger people are the rate 20 years ago of people that were in their 30s that were getting involved in this stuff isn't nothing compared to what it is today. Today you don't have the people, and I think a lot of it is because the opportunities aren't there for the younger people. We just said a little while ago, like, you pretty much go buy your way in now to do anything.
That's right.
But the one part of like this outdoor activities, guiding and that stuff that you don't have to buy your way in is the rec side of things.
True.
Like, I mean, anyone can buy a canoe and come down here and guide.
Right.
Anyone can have a bird dog and go out and bird hunt.
Yep.
But when you start getting into like the bigger, like your bear baits, your fishing ground leases and all that different stuff, like those are the things that are harder for people to really get into. And that's, in my opinion, that's where a lot of this is coming from and pushing back. And it's kind of scary because, I mean, just in the last 10 years, I can see it. And like the older people, they own their businesses. they're on their way out, and now they're to the point where they've worked their whole lives to get to where they are, and they're just kind of like, we're just going to go with the flow. We got a couple more years and go with there. So now it's the younger generation that needs to pick up the torch and run with it.
Yeah.
And there's less of the younger generation that's willing to do that, and we need more of that younger generation involved in this in order to keep this going. I mean, the older generation did their job to get it to where it's at. Now it's our responsibility to carry it through.
That's right. People's lives changed too. They got busier. 3 days is all they can get away from the office or wherever they're coming from. I mean, you see it on all the lodges. To have somebody there for a full week now is like unheard of.
Like pulling teeth out of a chicken.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it's not the people. It's how the world, the demographics of the world, and that stuff have changed around. Like, people need that security.
Yeah.
Of punching that clock 9 to 5. The days, like, I mean, one of the last episodes we did with Donnie Hellstrom there, he was talking and explaining about how he was working on the railroad, and he got fed up with dealing with the people and that stuff, and he just got in his truck, took a couple deep breaths, and off he went. That mentality and drive, though, you don't see that nowadays. Like, people they won't take that risk. I mean, he took one hell of a risk.
Yeah.
No different than me and Brittany did by packing up and bringing our kids 5 hours north and having nothing to do. Like, we were all in.
Yeah.
But
pioneer stock.
Exactly. And you know, and you take them risks, but without great risk, you don't have great reward.
That's true.
You know, and I think that comfort factor nowadays is really becoming a deciding factor for a lot of the younger generation. They want to feel safe. They want to be protected. They want.
Yeah, things are pretty easy when you're, attached to a phone and in air conditioning space.
100%. And that's, like, that is going to be the crucial deciding factor going forward with the outdoor industry. That's one of the reasons why it makes me happy to see that, like, the land trust down here. I mean, there's always going to be that 58,000 acres.
That's right.
It might be the last 58,000 acres in Maine that people can come to not uncontrolled, but can come and access as they want.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at all the other land that's getting bought up, like up north, by these different investment companies and this and that. Well, yeah, it's all part of the North Maine woods, but any given point, it's privately owned land. If they want to say, we don't want nothing on here, push comes to shove, that's the way it's going to be.
Unfortunately, you just hit it on the head. That's a private land organization. They have the say. If they get pushed hard enough by a certain lobby, they'll have to cave, I would imagine. And we don't. Our easements are there. They're set in stone. There's nothing that can change.
No. I mean,
when I first really comprehended that, I was like, oh, yeah, no, this is where I'm going to invest my time.
Well, and it's crazy just to think about it. Like, I've always heard of it, like, with being on the MPGA board with Dale and with Paul and, like, talking to all these guys. Like, you hear everybody talk about it. And, like, the Guides Education Fund, we've given numerous grants to the land trust for the different event sponsor and stuff like that. We do it every year. And, like, you hear about it, but literally until, like, I've been, like, sitting here and down here and actually, like, thinking about what we're doing. And, like, earlier you said there's 91 water.
91 miles of lakeshore.
Like, just to put your mind around 91 miles of lakeshore that you can have access to. There might not be a boat ramp every 91 miles, but at least that is land that people want to go fish and walk up and down through, or smelting or whatever. It's there for them.
It's going to look the same.
Yeah.
100 years from now. There's no camps out there. When you take somebody for a day of fishing, you can rest assured they're going to have a wild experience.
Well, that's like doing the Allagash, the guided trips we do down the Allagash River. That's one of the things, like, to me, is every time I go down, there's something that has changed, but it's Mother Nature that's changed it.
That's right.
Like, this tree might be blown over, or there might be a new beaver house here, or you know, something here.
That's the good kind of change.
Yeah, but exactly. Like, it's change that isn't human made.
Yeah.
And I'm glad and very thankful that we have the opportunity up there to be able to go to that place. I mean, you drive not far, and then you're in the North Maine woods, but you don't have to go far, and then you're in this place that is like pure isolation.
Yep.
I mean, it's
Those places aren't getting any more frequent. You know what I mean?
No.
They're getting eaten up. That's the thing, that those easements are important, that we have had monitored, is they don't allow for any of that to change.
Well,
It's not like it's me that's not changing it, or the land trust is not changing it. It's set into law.
and that's like the waterway. I mean, that's still a state park.
Right.
And from, I think it's at October 1st, after October 1st, you can discharge a firearm as long as you're so many feet away from the campsites and so many feet away from the buildings,
Right.
which is really after the canoe season,
Yep.
which is awesome. I mean, if someone wants to do a float trip down the Allagash for a moose hunt in October, they still have the capability of doing that. Right now, you can't go out and discharge a firearm or whatever there, but from what the waterway owns, just to be able to have that, yeah, it's a win-win for both sides.
Right.
Like, it's not
Yeah, nobody's
Baxter or something like that where they bought up all this land and now it's in a park that, yeah, it's all beautiful and natural, but the wildlife's not getting managed on there.
right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, that's different. Like, you get,
It is different.
we just explained like 3 different stages of land.
Yeah.
Like, you get the land trust down here that's open to everybody. You get the Allagash Waterway, which is state park, that is split pretty much 50-50. You know, it's open to trapping and outdoor recreation and that stuff, and the hunting side of things after your canoe season's over.
Yeah.
And then you get Baxter, which year round, I mean, how much land do they have there now that if you want to hike, that's about all you can do there. You can fish.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to get on a list. And
Yeah, you got to get on
certain times a year.
And that like that's the other thing. I'm glad you mentioned that. Like, a lot of times, like with the clients that'll come up and we go down the river, they're amazed that we don't have to register for this campsite for tonight or
Law of the jungle.
yeah, it's
Get
first
there
come,
first.
first serve, you know, and like and there's never really an issue with that.
Yep.
And like a lot of these parks and stuff, like you don't have that. Like, you have to register a month in advance, and sometimes you won't get it.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point of our sites. We have 13 campsites and a bunch of hiking trails. Also, the campsites, we don't have a sign-up sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not even really close together. You just got to basically hope no one's there when you get there and leave it like you found it, and you're good to go.
That's awesome. I really wish. I mean, that's how it was when I was a kid growing up. Like, you go, you camp here, and as long as you didn't make a mess and you had a fire pit or you built a fire pit or whatever and you was clear, no one messed with you.
Right.
I mean, and nowadays, like, it's getting to the point where you really can't do any of that or you're going to get criminal trespass.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, going in the paper company lands way back when, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, from then to now, it's completely changed. And a lot of it isn't, I don't think, in my opinion, a lot of it's not that the paper companies want that change, but it's people that have come out and have been treating the land as if it's their land,
Right.
you know, and to leave. I mean, you look at the cleanup day the Warden Service does to the woods.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I mean, up home,
shame.
there's someone that just dumped, I think it was like 50 some odd tires at the public boat landing in Allagash. We got a dump right there within 400 yards that'll take the tires, and they dumped them at, you know, the boat landing just because they didn't want to pay to get rid of them. You know, and you add all that stuff in, and like, we're really our own worst enemies when it comes to this stuff.
I'll say the Grand Lake Stream is kind of unique that way. I told you how many people we have, under 100, and I think that type of close community, everybody's on their best behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of know everybody's watching everybody, and we don't have a problem with that. Knock on wood.
That's awesome.
Because it's all kind of on the honor system, and I think that brings out the best in a lot of people. You know, they figure, well, if they're going to let us use it, we're going to take good care of it. The only one thing that you do that can be really unpopular is closing those gates. During certain times of the year, we got a couple hundred miles of road probably if you really stretched all the little ones out. But there's a lot of big roads. They're pretty expensive to fix. It's our second biggest budget item here.
So we like close in the springtime?
For mud season, we'll close the gates. There's one gate we can't close. The tribe has land on the other side of it, and they need to be able to get to their land. But we did a really good job of resurfacing that road so it can take a lot more abuse.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only like unpopular stuff that comes up. And I mean, if that's your biggest worry, you're in a good spot.
If that's your biggest worry, you can't use it for a month out of the year, then I mean you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, and you can still go and get there with a light vehicle that the gates allow to get around, but we just don't want pickups getting buried up to the axles.
So that was the other thing. Like, do you guys allow like e-bikes?
Everything.
So like you can use an e-bike, go around the gate. You can use a four-wheeler, any of that stuff.
We got hundreds of buggies. We call them buggies here, but side by sides. Yeah, we got buggy traffic in the weekend. There'll be 300 buggies at the store throughout the day.
Really?
On a busy weekend.
See, and that's even that you guys are allowing that, like that's crazy, because a lot of these people, I mean, unless you're on a designated trail that goes from point A to point B in a straight line, if you veer off of it,
come one, come all. We're not going to turn you away. We got every flavor of ice cream you can imagine.
You might regret doing this. This town might grow to 5,000 every day.
So the thing is, that's the trick. Mm-hmm. We don't have any land for sale. Yeah. Very, very few places are for sale, and even less new land is able to be developed because it was all protected. Yeah. So we're small, and that's a bad thing. But we're small, and that's a good thing.
But there's plenty of lodging around, though.
That's true. I mean,
just when we stayed at Channel Canal.
Canal Camps. Yeah, John and Mary. Yeah, great people.
Yes. Well, I haven't met them yet there, but
you'll enjoy them.
We were dealing with them there. It was awesome. And like just driving from there to Paul's, like we went by Weatherby's. Yep. We went by there. I mean, there's so much lodging down here that I thought a lot of it was houses. And by talking to Paul last night, he's like, no, these are all just camps. Like, and he said that there's like 90-some people that lived here. And I'm looking around like, we drove by a lot more than 90 buildings down over here.
So I count it by pillows. So I'm like, we probably got 120, 25 pillows. I've never counted exact. Yeah. Between all the places somebody could stay. Yeah. We can bring in twice our size in guests.
That's crazy.
And it's kind of by design. We don't allow camping here. Mm-hmm. You got to come and you got to enjoy one of our places.
But you get campsites, though.
We do have campsites. They're not in town.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of the Grand Lake Stream actual township, doesn't allow overnight camping.
Really?
Yep. Because we've got so many lodges. We've got a place for you.
And that's good, though, because that directs some money to town. I mean, and if someone's coming here, send the money to someone here in town. And the lodging rates, in my opinion, are pretty cheap down here.
They are pretty cheap.
Like up home, they're a lot more expensive up home than they are down here.
So the other thing that does is it directs you to a lodge owner who's going to be able to, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, they're going to be able to give you the right information and set the framework for you so that you're not like doing things that are socially unacceptable here. Yeah. Or it channels you to a guide. And whether they all realize it or not, the guides are all ambassadors for this town and this trust. We all really are. I'm part of the Guides Association, sat in the back of a canoe plenty of days. Yeah. And I think that's another thing that we're all together. We're all working on the same project for the most part. Not everybody, but for the most part.
For the most part, you're
all
all
working on the same. We're all pulling on the oars, going in the same direction. There's not too many people drilling holes in the boat.
To me, just from what I never heard of that one before, but just
there's a couple.
To me, just like talking and like seeing down here, it's like most of your outfitters down here, they're all working together in one way, shape, or form.
That's right.
Like
even though they're competitors, they're really helping each other.
Yeah, and like I know in different regions of the state, and I've seen it numerous times, is like people will screw themselves over, even though it will benefit you and them, just because they don't want to see your business succeed. Yeah. And you don't see that down here.
No, that's the thing. We're small. Everybody's kind of on their best behavior. I think that is important.
Well, I noticed
there's no anonymity here.
No, from like calling around to get people get some guests here for the podcast. Like everybody I talked to referred 4 or 5 other people. Yeah. Like it wasn't a thing of like, all right, yeah, me and I can't come, but I'm not going to tell you no one else's name. Like you have business owners that were not asking, but giving references to other business owners, their neighbors. Right. Say, hey, call this guy, right. Or this or that. And like that, you don't see that in many places.
I think that happens on the sporting world side too. Like, that somebody may not quite fit your model, but they might fit better over here. And that's what happens. People come here, they get to one place and they're like, I think that place over there, I'd like to check that out. What's that like? Well, eventually they they all kind of like marbles fall in their little hole,
Yeah.
you know, and then they come there generation after generation.
Yep.
So I do a lot of fly guiding in the spring, like wade guiding on the stream.
Yeah.
That's not a traditional activity for a lot of the local guides. Most of them are canoe guides. So a lot of the guides that come and do wade guiding aren't from this area originally. They come here for that season. That's a different crowd. Just like, you know, you got last year I had somebody who wanted to live bait fish the whole week. It took quite a while to get that live bait. That was a lot more work than I was used to as far as going out morning and night catching live bait, but that was a different crowd. You know, everybody's got their own like flavor of what they want to do, and a lot of them have been coming here for a long time. They want to try to duplicate something they've done in the past. They're like, "Oh, take me over here. We caught some huge fish on this shoreline." That's the most dangerous thing you can do. You know it isn't going to be as good as yesterday or the time they were there. I'm usually like, just trust me. Let me take you where I'm doing well.
Well, and that's one of my favorite sayings is you hired the guide for a reason.
Yeah,
Trust your guide.
that's right.
Don't guide the guide.
That's right.
Like you hired us for a reason, whether it's a moose hunt, a fish, or a trip, or whatever it is. Like you're paying us for a reason because you trust us.
That's right.
So trust us while you're here, not just before you get here.
We'll treat you right. You yes, you can tell me to take you to Farm Cove, but that isn't my like home drone. I'm not going to know exactly what to do there. That's not my backyard. Let me take you to the places I know every rock.
Notice you ain't giving them names up.
I'll take you there.
He'll take me there. You just ain't gonna tell me where.
Yeah.
Well, Onyx nowadays, well, that's kind of dangerous.
Yeah, that's
People can
true.
ride around with their Onyx, but no, and I mean, we joke about that, but that's the other thing. Like a lot of your guys, your morals, your ethics, and that stuff. Like if you bring someone to a place, 9 times out of 10, that person ain't gonna go back there.
Well, it's kind of awkward when you meet them there and the next time.
And that's what I mean. Like that's one of the situations where like I would never want to be put in that situation, and you don't see that much. I mean, a lot of people like with the shed hunts we do, they're like, "Well, you're taking people shed hunting, aren't you worried about them coming back there?" I'm like, more power to them. If I'm there guiding someone else and they want to show up there, the situation is gonna be completely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I'm more whatever it is, what it is, but you don't see that happen. You might get a few people that do something like that, but the majority of the people respect that, and they're not going to be put in that situation, to take and do it.
It's true. Most of the people that I notice that I guide were doing it on their own before. They have mobility issues now, or they want to give a different experience to somebody in a generational line, a son, a grandson, a granddaughter. They want to bring that into the fold. They want your experience to influence the day.
I've noticed an uptick in the last couple of years of probably grandfathers or grandmothers even bringing their grandkids on stuff like this. Like it used to be dads would bring the kids and moms would bring the kids. Well, now it's like it's skipped that generation, and it's grandparents that are doing this with their grandkids.
Yeah, the spot checking, like you said there, that's pretty common on the stream. What you'll have is somebody comes into town, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm going to hire a guide the first day."
Yeah.
And they want to know all the parts of the stream the first day, and then the next day you've got somebody new, and you're like elbow to elbow with them in the spot that they did well yesterday. But they don't have the whole picture.
No.
They don't know that like today we got a little cloud cover, so we're going to change flies.
Yeah.
Or, it was really cold last night, and those fish are acting a little different this morning. So they may think they've got the right spot, but it isn't just the right spot.
They didn't pick up on 20 years of experience in like just 8 hours.
It doesn't always work out for them. I welcome them, I talk to them, and I just keep going my way. Mm-hmm. I never have been one to like crowd up. I'll go off on my own.
Yeah.
Lobstering was the same way. If somebody was half a mile from me, I was like, wow, that's pretty close.
Well, anything else you want to add or touch on?
The future, I guess. This trust has been pretty productive over the last 25 years. I hope I get to bring it to the next level. I'm hoping to involve the community again very closely. I want to get some young people in the mix, some young people on the board. We don't do a lot with some of the modern stuff, like social media stuff is our websites, kind of like the Model T was a good car too, but we got to get something to really like fire up the younger crowd. Those guys that are like staring at their phones, when they put their phones down, they're ready to engage. You just got to be there at that right time to strike. I've got kids of my own in that teen age bracket, and they're thirsty for something real.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's gonna actually change in our lifetime so that we see it all come full circle. At first, you had to be rich to have a cell phone. I remember that.
Yeah.
Now, the really rich people don't have to have a cell phone.
Yeah.
They got somebody with the cell phone.
It's true.
So I do think
It will
eventually
come full circle.
the people that are either financially wealthy or value their time, let's be real. And that's as a guide, I've always told people that. You gave me your most valuable commodity. You give me your time, I'm not going to waste it.
Yep.
That is the only thing we can't get more of. So you better treat it pretty special. Like, you don't want to just, every day's got to be your best day as a guide.
Yep.
I know it's hard, but you get up in the morning, you've guided 9, 11 days in a row in the rain, and you're like,
It's day one for them.
put the boots on, let's go.
Yep.
Like, rally. And you do. You're like part entertainer, part whatever,
therapist,
part surgeon sometimes.
I mean, therapist, counselor,
Exactly.
you name it. Like, I mean, you're not just a guide. Like, you're there for everything.
You aren't kidding. I can tell you one quick one. This guy is 83 this spring, and I took him. I'd never guided him before, but a bunch of other friends had guided him. His name was Larry. So it got pretty far into the morning, and Larry wasn't really casting when we was on fish. And I'm like, Larry, you all right? He says, yeah, I'm fine. He says, I don't care if I catch any fish today. And I was like, well, there's fish here to catch, if you want. I'll fish along with you. I'll do some sound and a little proof in here. And he's like, yeah, why don't you try, see what you can come up with. So I was catching some nice bass. It was during the spawn, and he wasn't getting the spark. And finally he says, yeah, I lost my wife this winter. He says, yeah, 62 years. I'm like, oh, that's pretty tough. He says, yeah, it's hard to find a purpose now. He says, so he's like, I just really want to come back here. I've been coming here a long time and just enjoy the scenery. And we ended up sitting on my dock half the afternoon after lunch, just talking. Mm-hmm. At like 3.5 hours. I felt kind of bad about charging him for the day.
Yeah.
So toward the end of the day, he says, I really appreciate you just talking. I didn't care if I caught a fish. I was just coming here because it's a nice place to get away from it all. He says, that fly rod I brought, you said it casts pretty good. He says, why don't you hang on to it? And he says, I'm probably not going to use it much anyways. So I said, well, Larry, I'd like to see you use it. Why don't you hang on to it and bring it back and we'll cast it again next year? And he said, no, you hang on to it. We pulled up to the dock. He set the rod out on the dock, got himself out of the canoe. I tried to help him, but he was too proud. He got up there a little wobbly and he stepped on that fly rod, broke it right in half. I said, Larry, you just broke my fly rod. He says, that's all right. You can fix it for next year. That's your homework.
Well, those are, like, to me as a guide, those are some of the most memorable and like appreciated like tips or whatever you want to call it. Is like I much rather have someone give me something like that or a little gift than I would $100 cash or a couple $100 cash, because like we always have people come up and like the kids are my favorite. It's like they'll draw a picture, a hand drawn picture and put it in a frame and give it to you. We got them hanging all around the lodge. And to me, just being able to say that we made a lasting impression on that person or that kid, for them to take time out of their day to do something like that and not just go to the ATM and take some cash out. Like, they actually had to take time to do that.
You get it.
And
that's why you're successful at what you do.
I mean, it's
money comes and goes.
Yeah.
People, if you play it right, people are around a long time.
Yep, and that's like that's the best thing, for us and like for me is like watching this and being a part of it is like seeing that. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's crazy when you see that click with other people, and I've seen it with the guides that we hire over time. Like, and they build these relationships with the clients, and then like it's just something as simple as, like you said, a fly rod, or it might be a single shot shotgun, or just something crazy like that they took that was theirs and gifted it to one of them. Like, you see their whole outlooks all change on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can make money any day.
That's true.
But that stuff,
A $100 bill's got a serial number, but you don't memorize it.
Exactly.
I know Larry's first, last, and that he was the third, and I'll remember that forever while I'm casting that fly rod.
Yep. Well, all right, everybody. I think we've been jaw-jacking here long enough, so thanks again for watching another episode of Through the Eyes of a Maine Guide, and I'd like to thank you again, Brian, for welcoming us down here and having us at the trust.
I hope you come again.
Well, we'll plan on it. Until next time, make sure you hit subscribe, follow along, and enjoy what little bit we got left of summer.